Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Topcon Solutions Bluebeam Tips and Tricks video. I am David Campbell, and for today, we're going to get into stamps. All right, so stamps have been a pretty big thing. I've gotten quite a bit of feedback in terms of asking what things we can do to kind of personalize our stamp, how to personalize our stamps, bringing different stamps in, where do we find some stamps, and do we have any interactive stamps? People have been asking about form fields within stamps, whether they're signature blocks or they're text boxes or check boxes, things like that. So I'm hoping to answer some questions with this tips and tricks video. So first one is, of course, your tools here. So this is Bluebeam Revu 20 that I am working in. This is going to be the same for 18, 19, and 20. In version 17 and previous, it would be a little bit different. But essentially, what we'll do is we're going to find the stamp tool. And one of the first tips that I can give you is editing any of these stamps. You're going to notice that as you hover over the stamps, you're going to see a little pencil off to the side of it. So this approved stamp here, or my approval stamp, I can go ahead and click on one of those, and it's automatically going to open up that stamp in a kind of editing mode, right? At this point, we can go ahead and change any of the text here. The date and the time. Interesting thing about these is that they are, of course, dynamic text blocks. So if I wanted to, of course, utilize the date and time, I would just say date, and then time. If I want to specify, let's say the month, 2-digit, the 3 letter abbreviation, month, full name, year, 2-digit, things like that, I can go ahead and specify that. Now I can also add other blocks in here. So let's maybe go with month, day, and year and time. So if I update this, I would simply save it, or I guess it's pretty much saving at this point. But I'd go ahead and save that stamp, and then I can utilize this, which I'm not sure why it's got so many of these ands in here. I'll have to adjust that. But I'd go ahead and save it back into Revu here. So I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to hit save. And then when I go back to my approval stamp and I place it, of course, we have the extra and out here in our brackets, but you're going to see there's our actual date there, 03/30/2021 at 2:30 with 37 seconds. It's getting down pretty specific there. But essentially, we can go ahead and customize those stamps, adding in any bit of information in terms of those dynamic text blocks, right? Now, in getting back into kind of the editing mode here, a lot of people will ask me about creating a new stamp. Well, the stamps, you'll find that option right down here under Create. Okay, now, of course, you can utilize some of the templates, blank text, text with border, text with date and border, but you don't need to, right? The way that I like to look at it is, I'm going to start off with a 4x1 here, and just say, okay, this is a blank canvas for me to pretty much make whatever I want into a stamp, whether I want to make a watermark for our company, so I want to pull in the logo, and maybe a copyright statement or something that I want to go ahead and place on every single sheet. I would, of course, need to adjust the opacity of this stamp or the opacity of the text and the elements that I do put on this stamp. So in terms of an image, I can go ahead, bring up maybe my markup here and find my images. And I can bring in one of my images from my computer here. Let me find one. There we go. We'll use one of the Bluebeam logos here. And I'll go ahead, just click and drag. Okay, and I've placed that image as part of my stamp. Now at this point, I can go ahead and utilize the text box. Okay, now again, we can go ahead and utilize the properties here to adjust the appearance, the opacity, any fill color, the justification, things like that of our text. Okay, so we can customize this as much as we want to. I'm going to go ahead and remove this rectangle here. There we go. Now, again, we can continue adding other fields, but you'll notice that getting back to the point I had previously about the checkboxes, form fields, things like that, you can place them in the stamp, but the problem is when you bring the stamp in, it actually won't let you adjust it, right? So those form fields can't really be filled out. Those checkboxes can't really be checked. Well, that's where we're looking for a specific type of stamp called a interactive stamp, okay? Now, some of you have probably noticed I have this Review Extensions tab hanging up here. I went into my window here and grabbed one of my web tabs, and you'll find that on Bluebeam's website, they do, get out of that one, they do have awesome support under the Review Extensions in terms of free tool sets to download. We're going to talk about the stamps here in a second, profiles, dictionaries, those kind of things. Again, that's Review Extensions. You can do a search on their website for it, or of course on Google, and that will take you right here to these extensions for the tool sets and the stamps. Now, of course, you'll notice we have some default stamps, a confidential, draft, progress, print that they do have for free download, but this is the one I wanted to really kind of focus on as well, these interactive stamps here. You'll notice they give you great installation instructions in terms of clicking the stamp that you want to download it. You're, of course, saving it into your downloads folder, and it will come in as a compressed zip file. Now, it does come in as a compressed zip file because if I get back into review, oh, skipped right out of review there, excuse me. If I get back into review here, when it goes into that zip file, well, when it downloads, it's giving you a little bit more than just one stamp. So I'll actually see my assigned discipline, that one's right there. I've already downloaded these and kind of installed them so I can talk you guys through what happens when we do download them and kind of how we use them as well. So we'll see the assigned discipline here. That is for utilizing on like one sheet, one document, okay? And the batch, so this is a different kind of coding that they've put in to allow us to utilize these interactive stamps in a batch process. Now, some of you may be asking, okay, Dave, that seems cool, but what are these interactive stamps? Well, we're going to see here that we have assigned discipline, engineering review, submittal project, submittal status, and submittal review. And you're also going to notice that these stamps do have form fields, right? I have some check boxes here in my engineering review, some text boxes in my submittal, some different information to fill out with these stamps. Well, when we go to place these stamps, and the reason why they're interactive, let's say I grab my, I'm going to grab this submittal review. Yeah, I'll grab that submittal review. When I go to place the stamp, it's automatically going to pull up with a JavaScript window asking me essentially the questions to fill out those form fields within the stamp. So I'm going to approve this document. This is 2021-003 for my project number, checked by me, the date, submittal number 514623, spec number. I'm just going to leave that one blank. But essentially, you guys can see that we fill out these different form fields, and when I hit OK, it populates. Oh, there we go. Populates right here on my screen. Okay, now we can, you'll notice it says company logo in here. We can go ahead and, I just double clicked on it there, but we can go ahead and customize this stamp as well. So if I go back into Tools, Stamp, and I find this submittal review, you'll notice the little pencil is there as well. We can grab this text box for the company logo and kind of like we talked about there in the beginning, bring our image in terms of markup an image here if we have that company logo we want to place. Now, some of you will be asking, are these interactive stamps customizable? Yes. You will also notice that when you download these stamps, they actually do have a very good instruction manual that comes with it. So there's going to be a PDF that populates with these different stamps. And I would definitely recommend reading through those documents, even if they are a little dated. You'll notice some of them are probably still from 17 or before, but the buttons are essentially the same. You'll notice that, again, it just kind of guides you through how to customize even using those stamps. Now, there is some coding in this stamp that I will tell you, don't mess with. I've learned the hard way, a little bit of lessons that I'll share with you guys. Don't mess with some of the coding in this stamp in terms of there's quite a bit that goes with it. Following along with what the PDF gives you, making changes and adjustments is easy. Again, you do want to reflect back to those PDFs. And then if you do have any questions while you're going through this, or you're interested in kind of building your own stamp code and kind of trying to figure out how it would work, just feel free to reach out to us, reach out to me here or the Topcon Solutions team. We do have some Bluebeam specialists on hand that do, again, kind of work with these types of stamps, and we help other clients kind of develop these interactive stamps for use. Now, thank you everyone for coming out, and thank you as always for providing the feedback. Your feedback is actually what goes into how we kind of position these videos, how we make these videos, or what we're making, right? We want to make sure that this is valuable to everyone that watches it. And again, keep looking out for our videos to be posted on YouTube, on our social media channels on YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. And you will want to look for the Topcon Solutions store, right? And you know what, if you ever feel like you want to try some of these tips and tricks, if you want to get into stamping and you're kind of new to Bluebeam Revu, or maybe you don't have it yet, feel free to go to our website, topconsolutions.com/BluebeamRevu, and there is a free 30-day trial download there that you can go ahead and run through. Again, we do have a lot of those videos on YouTube in terms of the tips and tricks or different webinars that we've done under that Topcon Solutions store, and it might help you get started a little bit faster. But again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you again for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next tips and tricks video.